You struggling with this one for one bit because this is challenging and very specific parts. You know, with some songs you can break down as it's this chord, and it sounds like it. This song is really a riff that you kind of have to learn as is, and it's a really strange and cool riff. I'm glad you picked this song because I don't know the Smashing Pumpkin stuff that bad, but sometimes people think that I'm the singer from that, so it's good for me to be aware of what they do, so I could pretend I am if it ever helps. So let's start with this piano part in the beginning. I'm assuming you're talking about the guitar part because it's such a guitar heavy song, but the piano part is relevant to the guitar part. So that right there is a cool little unusual movement of chords. And what those chords are is actually the same chords that it is on the guitar. He has his guitar tuned down a half step, like so many people have from Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Jimi Hendrix, and countless others. So it's tuned in E flat. So this is E flat, G flat, what just happened? D flat. And then he jumps up after that. Key change. That was F. So that whole sequence, let's hear it again. E flat, G flat, D flat, F to A flat, E flat, and it's these little chord tones. The third to the fifth of each chord and back. In E flat, that's G, B flat, G. In G flat, that's B flat, D flat, B flat. But I know we're going to get to the guitar, but just to be aware of that's the piano part. E flat, G flat, D flat, F, really bold key change right there. A flat, and then A flat again, doing that same pattern. So let's take this on guitar, and I listen to this guitar part a little bit because, like I said, it's not normal, and it can really throw off the ear. So if we took the guitar chords, actually, because I'm doing all these songs in a row, I'm just going to change the tuning of the track up to E instead of changing the chords, changing the tuning, just to keep it simple. So I'm sorry, this is going to be in the key of E instead of E flat. So this guitar part, very cool chords. But you hear all those jumping notes? That's usually a clue that there's some open strings involved, because it's hard for guitars to do that. Like, where's he gonna? That's just very hard to do, to jump. So there's a lot of open strings. So this is what I'm hearing, and I could be wrong, but hopefully it at least gives you a way into the song to understand it and to be able to do it, play it good enough, as we often say, when we're learning songs. So E is the first chord in general. Now it's G, but you hear those open strings at the bottom. So this is just a little chord analysis before we get into the riff. And then F sharp. Now a usual F sharp is going to be a bar chord with all the strings. I'm just leaving those two strings open because it sounds like an open string kind of chord. And then A. But as you know, when you listen to it, it doesn't sound like this. I mean, it's not that far off, but it's not it. So this is really cool guitar playing. The first one does sound like that. I'm finger picking. You can definitely use a pick. I just dropped my pick somewhere. Now the G was... So I got this, that's like, it's this an octave higher, if that makes sense. G and D, but up here. And then you hear this high A in there, which makes it tricky fingering. And then the F sharp was half step lower, but instead of that extra note being on the 5th fret, like it is for the G. Now they're playing the third of the chord up here on the 6th fret. And then the A way up here. So he's just moving bar chords really on the 4th string. Very slick guitar part. I'm going to check out more Smashing Pumpkins because of you. Thank you. So the E with starting on the 4th string. Then the G up here with, and then the F sharp down. And then, so I know the picking might be a little different, but those are the shapes. And if you play with those shapes, you'll get that vibe. So let me see how bad I messed it up by giving it a listen. And this is also the kind of song, if you have this software, I have this one called Transcribe with an exclamation point. It's pretty inexpensive software that slows down and changes the keys. So just say I slow this down. 64%. Right? Sounds pretty good. So because this song has such a complicated riff, I think I might leave it at that. I'm sure there's some changes. I'll just listen if there's anything quick. But I think that could take you a long way by just really playing with those chords and that riff. Because it's really cool and unique. Just going to skip ahead. Big sound. That big lead sound. That big lead on top. You hear those parts? All right, have fun. If there's another part you need, write, and I'll try to get to it later. All right, thanks again for your question and your nice compliment.